Joy was 32 years old and pregnant with twins. She and her husband Roberto were thrilled to be expecting, but their excitement was short-lived. The doctor told them that one of the babies was not like a regular baby. Joy was worried. What was the gynecologist talking about? How could he say something so vague to me? The frantic mother thought. Joy's pregnancy was difficult, and her doctor advised her to take it easy. She was scared for her babies and didn't want anything to happen to them. Joy and Roberto named their babies Amanda, the bigger one, and Emily, the premature one. The couple was worried about their future and what it would hold for their daughters. The expectant couple researched everything they could about pregnancy, as they were constantly worried about their girl's health. Joy was closely monitored by her doctors throughout the pregnancy and was advised to take it easy. The couple was also worried about the delivery because Joy's body would be under a lot of pressure. The doctors advised them to wait until the girls were older before undergoing any surgical procedures. The couple struggled to accept their new reality. They were worried about their daughters and what the future held for them. The doctors advised that they wait until the girls were older before considering any medical procedures. Joy was scared for her daughters and didn't know how she was going to cope. She wasn't expecting two babies, and now one had a chance of being born with some defects. Was it safe to continue with a high-risk pregnancy? Joy's friends and family were supportive and helped her through this difficult time. They told her that her daughters were beautiful and that everything would be okay. Joy's mother was especially supportive and helped her daughter adjust to this new chapter in her life. All children are God's gift, child. Remember, they come through us so we can take care of them, Joy's mother cooed. Joy found it hard to believe. Joy couldn't get the doctor's words out of her head. What was wrong with her children? She kept praying that they would be born healthy and happy, with no pain and trauma. But she already knew that she was asking for too much. That was not going to be the case for her babies. They were experiencing distress even before they entered the world. The day of the birth arrived, and Joy was nervous. The delivery was complicated, and the doctors struggled to deliver the babies. Amanda was born first. She was bigger and healthier than Emily. Emily was born last. She was tiny and looked fragile. Joy was shocked by their appearance and couldn't believe what she was seeing. Joy was curious about what her daughters looked like and was shocked when she saw them for the first time. Amanda was a healthy baby girl with a chubby face and chubby cheeks. However, Emily looked tiny, pale, and fragile. Joy's heart ached as she saw her daughter, and she wondered how she would care for her. When Joy saw her daughters for the first time, she was overwhelmed with emotions. She couldn't believe that they were real and that she was their mother. Amanda was a regular baby, but Emily was so small and delicate, just as the doctor had predicted. Joy was scared for her daughter and didn't know what to do. Joy's husband, Roberto, was also struggling with their situation. He didn't know how to help his wife and was worried about the future. The couple found solace in each other and leaned on each other for support. They talked about their fears and concerns and helped each other through this difficult time. But would they last through the endless doctor's appointments and meetings? As the days passed, Joy grew stronger and became more confident in her role as a mother. She learned to care for her daughters and was amazed by their resilience. Amanda was a happy and playful baby, while Emily was delicate and required extra care. Joy was amazed by her twin daughters and was proud of how far they had come. Joy's mother was also amazed by the twins. They were fascinated by Amanda and Emily and couldn't believe how strong they were. Grace, Joy's mother, became their primary caregiver and was always there to help them. Grace was proud of her daughter and the beautiful family she had created. Joy was grateful for her mother's help, but felt like she was trying to protect her from something or someone. Joy's mother was a great source of comfort for her. She held Amanda and Emily in her arms, kissing them and cooing at them. Her mother's love and acceptance helped Joy come to terms with her daughter's appearance, and she was able to bond with them. When Amanda and Emily were brought to the nursery, friends and family came to visit. They were amazed by the twins and couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some people were shocked, and others were fascinated. Joy was overwhelmed by their reactions and didn't know what to think. Eventually, Joy's best friends came to see her new babies, but they were taken aback by their appearance. Some whispered amongst themselves, while others were too afraid to look at the girls. Joy felt overwhelmed and isolated as she saw the reactions of those around her. She questioned if she should have the procedure done sooner, but they were still too little. Roberto was equally shocked when he saw his daughters for the first time. He felt a mix of emotions as he held them in his arms. He felt proud and protective of his girls, but also scared and overwhelmed by their condition. The strong father was determined to be the best father he could be to his girls and provide them with a happy and healthy life. Roberto was also amazed by the girls and bragged about their strength. He couldn't believe how much they had grown and how strong they were. Roberto became a protective father immediately and was always there to help them. He was proud of his wife and the beautiful family they had created. The doting father was worried about how long the happiness would last before the stress of the surgery started. As the girls grew older, Joy and Roberto started to consider medical procedures. The doctors advised them to wait until the girls were older, but Joy was scared for their future. She didn't want her daughters to be in pain and wanted them to have a normal life. Roberto was supportive of Joy's decision and remained patient for his wife. As the weeks passed, Joy and Roberto learned how to care for their daughters. They were amazed by their resilience and strength. Amanda and Emily had different personalities. Amanda was more active and curious, while Emily was more passive and content. The parents grew sad, thinking that the little girls were soon going to experience a lot of pain. Joy and Roberto faced many challenges as they raised their girls over the years. They had to make tough decisions about their daughters' health and future, but they were always there for each other and their daughters. Roberto worried about what would happen if they lost one of the girls. It was a horrible thought, but a near reality. Despite the challenges they faced, Joy and Roberto found joy in the small moments they shared with their daughters. They laughed and played with them and watched as they grew and developed. They took lots of photographs to capture every smile and emotion. They didn't want to miss a moment when they were happy, especially with little Emily. As the girls grew older, Joy and Roberto realized that Amanda and Emily were more than just twins. They were their daughters, and they loved them no matter what. Joy was having second thoughts about the operation. She cried when she thought about the countless operations and therapies the little babies had to go through. Joy learned to embrace her daughter's differences and to celebrate their unique bond. She was amazed by the love and bond that Amanda and Emily shared, and she was grateful to have them in her life. But when she was alone, she cried her heart out because she thought she had done something wrong to deserve all the pain and hurt she was going through. It was difficult taking care of the twins. Joy and Roberto thought back to when they were initially overjoyed when they learned they were having twins. Their joy was short-lived when they found out one of the babies was not like a regular baby. But now they couldn't imagine their life without her. They struggled to process the information and came to terms with the reality of their situation. They were trying their best but reaching their toll. If they decided to go ahead with the medical procedure, then they might stand a chance of losing Emily. She was the smaller one. The doctors said that there was a possibility she might not make it. She might not even turn out looking the same way she did. It all sounded too horrifying to Joy. She couldn't bear to keep thinking about her babies under the knife. The parents were not in a strong financial position, and it took them the whole year to save up their money for the operation. They even started a GoFundMe page, but it didn't raise as much money as they hoped. They would have to look at other avenues of income. The tension was getting worse at home between the once loving couple. The worried couple had most of the medical plans in place by the time the twins were ready for the operation. The doctors told them that they had to be at least 2 years old, and they were now 22 months old. It was a life-or-death operation that needed to be calculated. Would the drained parents make the right decision? Another pediatric surgeon advised that it was in Amanda's best interest to have the operation. Unfortunately, Emily's little body was almost feeding off Amanda and causing distress to her. The babies shared vital organs and shared one reproductive organ. They each had one functioning kidney. The joining at the abdomen was what was keeping them alive, but also slowly killing them. Joy questioned God's intentions for making 2 innocent children suffer so. Joy and Roberto realized that their daughter's condition did not define them, and that they were just like any other children with their own personalities, likes and dislikes, and their own special bond. They were proud of their daughters and the life they had built together. But they couldn't live with themselves if they didn't try to give both the girls a normal life. They decided to go ahead with the procedure, no matter how risky. The doctor told them that their twins were conjoined at the abdomen. This news devastated them. Joy and Roberto took time to absorb the news. They had never heard or seen conjoined twins before and didn't know what to expect. They were parents that had children with special needs. They didn't look like other children. It was a lot of responsibility that they were not ready for, but they took it in their stride. What if something happened to one of them during the procedure? They would never live it down. They were grateful for the love and support of their friends and family, and they were determined to give Amanda and Emily the best life possible. The couple decided to start making the necessary arrangements for the girls' procedure. They would go ahead separating their bodies from the abdomen, even though there was a 50-50th chance they would survive. They were taking a big risk, risking one daughter's life for the other. Would Roberto be able to get everything ready in time? The worried parents were anxiously waiting. They finally found a team of specialists who had experience with conjoined twins and had a high success rate. The day of the surgery was finally here, and Joy and Roberto were a nervous wreck. The surgery was going to take 16 hours, and the outcome was uncertain. They said goodbye to their daughters and prayed for the best. They had to trust strangers, no matter how qualified, with their lives. The surgery was a delicate and complex process. The doctors carefully separated the girl's abdomen. The organs were next. The doctors and nurses worked tirelessly to ensure that they would be able to function independently. Joy and Roberto were anxiously waiting outside the operating room, hoping and praying for good news. Why hadn't anyone come out to talk to them yet? Finally, after 16 hours, the doctors emerged from the operating room, exhausted but with a smile on their faces. He looked tired, and his eyes were red. Roberto called him over and asked if everything was okay. The doctor's weak smile quickly changed to a frown. Joy jumped up and questioned the overworked doctor. "Are my babies okay, doctor? Is Emily okay?" Her frantic eyes looking between the theater and the doctor. The doctors informed them that little Emily was weak, and her body was struggling to handle the stress of the operation. Joy's heart froze. What was this doctor telling her? The doctor who had performed the surgery couldn't hold back his tears. He had grown close to the family during the months leading up to the surgery and had become emotionally invested in their story. They had successfully separated the twins. Joy and Roberto were overjoyed with the news. But their happiness was short-lived. Joy had a motherly instinct that something was wrong. She made the doctor sit down and searched his face for answers. He definitely had something else to say, and Joy wanted to know if her baby girls were all okay. He looked at Joy and said, "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Joy. We did everything we could." He hung his head in shame. The distraught doctor felt a deep sense of guilt and sorrow for not being able to do his job. Joy stared at the doctor's face. The blood drained from her face. They were devastated. They couldn't believe that they had just lost one of their daughters. The doctors did everything they could to save Emily, but it was too late. She passed away just a few minutes after the surgery. Her tiny body couldn't heal, and she didn't have enough strength to pull through. Joy and Roberto were inconsolable. They couldn't believe that their hope had been taken away from them. Joy and Roberto were heartbroken. Although they anticipated the issues of the surgery, it had still all happened so fast. They couldn't believe that their little family was now incomplete. Everything was going to change now. They decided to have a baby funeral for Emily, where they could say their final goodbyes and honor her memory. The funeral was a somber event, filled with tears and sadness. Joy and Roberto couldn't help but wonder what could have been. All their friends and family attended, as the special little baby Emily had touched all their lives in some way. They were grieving the loss of their daughter while trying to remain strong for their other daughter, Amanda. The couple was having a difficult time keeping it all together. The weeks that followed were difficult for the family. Joy and Roberto struggled to come to terms with their loss, while also celebrating the life of their surviving daughter. They spent every moment they could with Amanda, holding her close and cherishing every second. The doctors continued to closely monitor Amanda's progress, and they were happy to report that she was doing well. She was thriving, despite her obvious limitations. Her parents were filled with pride and happiness. They focused all their attention on her health and safety. As Amanda grew older, she asked about her sister, and Joy and Roberto made sure they were always open and honest with her. Amanda was a bright girl and always listened to her parents. Although their lives were somewhat normal now, they always feared that Amanda's health issues would come back to haunt them. Would this little family be able to enjoy some real quality time together before it is too late?